This session is about editing photos with Snapseed, which is a free app for Android or iPhone.
We are geeks, also known as propeller heads, and we can prove it because we wear these silly hats. If you've seen us before, you know about these. And we wear these because we don't want to take ourselves too seriously. But you know, another word for a geek is propeller head, right?
Yeah, so that's us.
We actually got married in hats like these back in 1998. So that was a lot of fun.
We are known as Geeks on Tour because we are travelers. For 14 years, we lived in an RV and traveled all over the country. Those maps are just typical years for us. We did visit Senior Planet in Denver for real, like in 2019, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And we were there. Actually, we weren't there in the RV, were we? Anyway.
No.
And we are teachers. So unlike most geeks, you know, what we really like to do is explain things and teach. So that's what we do. That's who we are.
And that's what we're doing. We do have a specialization in Google Photos. Chris here is the author of Learn Google Photos, and she is a platinum level product expert for Google Photos. So she's the expert. She knows what she's talking about. We have a book. It's available on Amazon and Kindle.
And we have a live YouTube show on once or twice a month on a Sunday afternoon. If you just go to youtube.com and click search for Geeks on Tour, you will find our YouTube show. It's about an hour, and we've done 228 episodes. We encourage you to take a look.
Man.
And the best way to stay in touch is by signing up for our newsletter. You skipped it. Is by signing up for our newsletter. So if you just go to geeksontour.com/news, you can sign up for the newsletter. You'll learn about when we're doing our shows on Sunday or when we're doing other things like this.
Too many fingers.
It's a free newsletter.
Yeah, and we promise not to abuse your email address. It's just to keep in touch with you.
And I said that this class is going to be recorded, and you will be able to find the recording once it's available on our website at geeksontour.com/classes. Geeksontour.com. This is our website, geeksontour.com. Just scroll down the page and you will see classes. This is where I keep a history of all the presentations we do for groups like Senior Planet.
Photo editing with Snapseed.
Snapseed is an app. You download it from your Play Store on Android or from the App Store on iPhone. And if people want to do that and follow along right now, or if you already have Snapseed, great, you'll learn a lot today. It is not available on computer. So just know that. I will be using it mostly today on an iPad. And it's not just me that thinks that Snapseed is the best. On the Android side, Android Authority says this is the photo editor we'd recommend first. The iPhone Photography School says if you're new to iPhone photography, this should be the first editor app you download and learn. So it is really good. It can be used on a standalone basis, or it can be used in conjunction with Google Photos. So install the app and then check the settings. And I want to show you this. So if you have installed Snapseed,
wrong one,
you will see on your phone this little green leaf. That is the Snapseed app. And if you are in it, you tap the three dots and settings.
It's hard to see.
And I just want to make sure that your settings are correct for not resizing. Come on. Down the second set of settings where it says image sizing or format and quality. So image and sizing, do not resize. Format and quality should be JPEG. Actually, I think that should be at 100%. So that's just one setting to look at when you get to your Snapseed app. Snapseed is by Google, and you can use it. So if all of your photos are in Google Photos, then that's where you always are, and you want to use Snapseed from there. So I'm going to show you how real quick. Question? Nope, just... Yeah?
I have a question.
Okay, Sally.
Can the Google Photos be on an iPhone? And can they also be on just a, not a laptop, but a computer that's not Apple?
Okay. The Google Photos app, you can view your Google photos on Apple, Android, web, Mac, Windows, everything. But the app is special, and that's just for Android or iPhone. Okay, so here is my iPhone. This is an iPhone, and here is my Google Photos. Now, because I do use Google Photos, I have like 100,000 pictures in my Google Photos library, and I can go back to any place in time. So this photo, it happens to be from 1999. So you know that that photo is not on this phone, right? I did not take that photo with this iPhone, but I can still edit it in Snapseed. On an iPhone, you swipe up on the picture, and if Snapseed is installed on this phone, you should see Open in Snapseed. So now I am in the Snapseed app, and I have all those tools available to me. We'll be seeing that. On an Android, it's slightly different. So here is my Google Photos on an Android phone, and I have the same 100,000 pictures. That's the way Google Photos works. Now I can open any picture. Here's one from 2002. The way you get to Snapseed is different, though, on the Android. On the Android, you tap the Edit button, and then you scroll all the way over to the right till you see More. Now there's a list of all the photo editing apps installed on this phone. There's Snapseed. I am now looking at that picture in the Snapseed app. Okay, I see we have another question.
Okay.
I have a question.
What's your question?
I save everything with Apple. It's been easiest for me with my iPhone. I am not interested in Google accessing anything for me. Now, I have a Gmail account, a couple of them. But when I went into my Snapseed app just now, it wanted to get pictures and then give them to Google or something. And I want to make sure that I'm not doing that. And if I'm pulling a picture from my library, that Google's not getting into it.
If you do not have the Google Photos app installed on your iPad, then Google Photos is not getting your photos. Now, Snapseed does have to have access to the photos on your device. That's the permission that you're seeing.
Okay.
So,
thank you very
yeah, but if you don't have Google Photos app installed, your photos are not going to Google Photos.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Molly.
Yes, I didn't quite catch. Will it work on a laptop?
No,
Okay,
this is a mobile app.
okay.
Snapseed.
And there's another question. Do I have to save to Snapseed album, or can they be saved to Google Photos?
We will cover that.
Okay.
It automatically saves to a Snapseed album, and then you have to tell your Google Photos to watch that Snapseed album, and it gets them.
Please.
All right, so this is to review. If your photos are in Google Photos. Now, if they're not, don't worry. The rest of the class will be using Snapseed without Google Photos. But if you use Google Photos, you can open Google Photos from an iPhone. That's the left-hand column here. Open the desired photo, swipe up, and you should choose Open in Snapseed. When you're done with Snapseed, you tap Export and Save, and you're done. On an Android, you open Google Photos, open the desired photo, tap the Edit button, scroll right to More, and select Snapseed. And then when you're done, you just tap Done, and it's back to Google Photos. And make sure that the Snapseed folder is set to back up to Google Photos. But you can also watch this video on your own by going to the class materials on Geeks on Tour. Hi, this is Chris Guld with Geeks on Tour, and I want to show you how I use the Snapseed app to improve my photos. I'm starting in Google Photos, and this is an Android. I'll do it on an iPhone in a minute. This is the picture I want to edit. I tap the Edit button in Google Photos, then swipe over on the horizontal menu until I see More. Snapseed, if it's installed on your phone, should appear there. Now I'm in Snapseed and I want to choose a tool. Tools. And the tool I always start with is Tune Image, the first one. Once you're in the tool, you swipe up and down on the photo to choose the specific option. In my case, I'm going to use Ambiance. Once you've chosen Ambiance, then you rub left or right to increase or decrease the amount of that option. Notice when I rub over to the right, the photo gets richer. You get more detail in the shadows and a darker blue sky. I like that a lot. And I tap the check mark to say I'm done with that. One other thing I want to do with this picture is take out that extra car back there. See, I want it to look like we were the only ones there. That's Tools and Healing. Now I get it so that I see that truck and I just rub my finger on it. And it's gone. Check mark. And I am done editing this photo. I tap Done, and I am back to Google Photos. I can view my results here. Now I'm going to do the same thing using an iPhone. Snapseed works the same, but getting to it and back from Google Photos is slightly different. So here I am in Google Photos. Here is the picture, the original picture that I want to edit. You swipe up and tap Open in Snapseed. Once here, I tap Tools, Tune Image, swipe on the photo until I choose Ambiance, then swipe right to increase the amount of ambiance. It's I think a fairly subtle difference, but just beautiful. You can look at the difference between your original and what you have now with this button in the top right. There's my original. There it is with the ambiance. I like it. I tap the check mark. I want to get rid of that truck. I tap Tools and Healing. Zoom in a little bit. Touch on the truck. And I don't like how that worked, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. There. Check mark. And there is no done. In the iPhone, you have to tap Export and then Save. And then you have to manually go back to Google Photos. It might take a minute before the photo from Snapseed shows up in your Google Photos, but then it will be next to your original on iPhone anyway. It'll have a new date for today in Android. And that is how easy it is to make your pictures more beautiful using Snapseed. Give it a try.
All right, let's see. We have a couple of questions up here.
I was wondering, so this app is only good on a phone?
On a mobile device.
Huh?
On a mobile device, yes.
It could be a...
Can I use it on my iPad?
Yes, that's how we'll be doing most of the class.
Okay, because I can barely see it on my phone.
Right.
To improve it would be, anyway, thank you.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could I do this without going into Google Photos at all?
Yes, that's how we're going to do most of the class. So yeah, Snapseed does not work on Windows or Mac, just on iPhone or Android, iOS or Android. So we're going to use it standalone. We're going to use it with an iPad. And you just open Snapseed, tap the plus to open a photo that is on your device, and then you'll see the menus. I'll point out the difference between the horizontal or the vertical. When you're done, you save by using the export button. You have choices: save a copy, or export. I usually just use save. Sometimes you might want to save a copy. Export creates a brand new photo. Now, what date does it get? This throws people off sometimes because they are looking for the photo at the beginning of their photo library. But no, it gets the same date as your original. So it should be next to your original. There are a few exceptions where it will get today's date, but generally it's the same date as the original. So here are all these tools. Look at what Snapseed has to offer. I think I counted 28 tools. Today we will be working with 9, maybe 10 of them. So it gives you fun ways to play with your photos endlessly. When you want to select an option, you rub your finger up and down. We'll be doing all this. When you have selected an option and you want to make it more or less, you rub your finger on the screen to the right or to the left to make it more or less. And then when it is how you like it, you tap the check mark to accept it. If you don't like it, you can click the X to cancel. So let's play. I'm going to be doing this on my iPad. I have an iPad mini. I love this size screen. And there is the Snapseed app right there, the green leaf. So I tap Snapseed. It already has a picture on it, but that's not the picture I want to work with. I tap on Open. And open from device. Okay, now I'm seeing all the pictures on my iPad. And I want to make sure I'm looking at my recent ones. And here it, no. Open from device, albums. These things are so touchy. There's the picture I want to work with. So this is a picture of Jim and me in Brisbane, Australia. I think it's a cool picture, but it's kind of dark. I think it could be more beautiful. We're in Snapseed. This button stands for Tools. Now let me show you. If I held the device in a vertical mode, you actually get the word Tools. Tools, Looks, and Export. When it's horizontal, it's the pencil that means tools, it's the rainbow that means looks, and it's the up arrow that means export. So I want tools. Look at all these. But the first two tools are the first and second most important tools for making a picture more beautiful. Tune image. I want to tune this image, make it a little bit brighter, make it a little bit prettier. I have lots of options. This is where I rub my finger. See that? I'm just rubbing my finger on the photo and it pulls up the different options. So let's say I wanted to make it a little bit brighter. I chose the brightness, and I can tell I chose the brightness because up in the upper left-hand corner, it says brightness 0. If I now rub my finger to the right, I will be increasing the brightness. Come on, there. Now that's way too bright, so I rub more to the left. If I rub all the way to the left, look how dark it gets. So it's you just get it to where you think it's about right. And I don't want to make it too bright because I'm also going to scroll up until you see ambiance. This is my favorite feature. When I rub my finger to the right with ambiance selected, it gets more beautiful. Don't you think? Look at the detail in the trees, the bluer sky, the brighter faces. If I rub to the left, see how everything just gets dull again. Rub to the right with ambiance selected, and you have a prettier picture. I like that. I'm going to tap the check mark. That says I'm done with the tuning tool. Now let's look at some other tools. I think this could be cropped a bit closer. Now crop is a very simple tool. Every photo editor has that. Crop, and I will bring it in from the left corner. So just I think I might even, yeah. It's always better to get close to people's faces, but I want that tall building in the background. There we go. So that's how I'm cropping. I like that crop. I tap check mark. Now Jim's face could even be a little bit brighter, but I don't want to brighten up the rest of the picture. So for that, I'm going to use a tool called brush. Tools, brush. Now there's different things that you can brush on. Dodge and burn, exposure, temperature, and saturation. I like to brighten his face. I'm going to use exposure, and notice it comes up at 0.7. That's probably pretty good. I'm going to have to rub his face, so I want to zoom in. 2 fingers and zoom in so I see just his face. And now I rub, and I have brightened up just his face. I like it. I check mark. So that's a better picture. How can I tell for sure? I want to see my original. Just touch and hold outside of the picture, on the frame outside of the picture. There's my original. There's the edited one. Okay, I like it. I'm done. I'll tap export and save. And on the iPhone, it always asks for one more set of permissions. You have to tap on modify to say yes. I want to save that. Let's do another one. Let me start from scratch here. So I'm going to swipe Snapseed off just to start from absolute scratch. I tap the Snapseed tool, and it just comes to a blank screen. Tap anywhere to open a photo. Open a photo, open from device. How about an albums and recent? And I made sure to get a picture on here that is from when we visited Senior Planet in Denver a couple years ago. There it is. Anybody recognize that? Lowry Beer Garden right in front of...
Senior Planet.
So I think that's, and it has that rocket ship in the background, but boy, do we look dark and yit. So, tools, tune image, rub up and down until I see brightness, rub right to make it more bright, but not too much, rub up and down to get ambiance, rub right to get more. Ooh, isn't that getting prettier? I think that's pretty good right there. I'll check mark. I'll long press to see what it looked like in the original. There's the original. There is my beautified photo, and I think that's nice. Export and save. And modify.
Chris, does that save the original also, side by side?
Not in the exact, well, let's go look. So I'm just going to look in the Apple Photos app and in my recents and see what I have here. Yeah, I did a save, which means that it's saved on top of the original. However, if you wanted, so two choices. If you wanted it to save additional, you would have chosen save a copy. I chose save. But even when I chose save, I can go back to Snapseed, open this picture, and with this little stacks tool, that's what this little double square up here stacks, and I can revert. Discard all the changes that I just did, revert. And now if I save that or save a copy, I have my original.
But you lose your edited copy though, right?
Well, not if I did a save a copy. If I do save a copy, now that copy should look like my original. Let's go look. And yeah, so there is the one with the edits. They both look like edited ones. Well, if I had done save a copy from the beginning, I would have both.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other?
Where is save? I don't see it. I'm under tools, and all I see is export, looks, tools, and
Export. Export. Tap.
It didn't give me a choice to save it when I hit, oh, now it did. Okay. Okay.
Make sure. Okay, let's do a couple more. I tap on Snapseed. I don't want to work with this photo, so I'm going to tap open, open from device, and get another one. Albums and recent. And this picture. Half Dome Yosemite. We walked miles to get the vantage point to take this picture, but it's just washed out and yucky. Tools, tune image, rub up and down till I see ambiance. Oh no, I want to use a different tool on this one. I'm going to X out of this. Tools, HDRscape. HDRscape is kind of a heavy-duty ambiance, and I think this picture could use the heavy-duty. So HDRscape, look at that. Just by going into HDRscape, I have detail in the mountain. I have a darker blue sky. And if I wanted even more, notice it says up at the top left here, filter strength 50. HDR 50. If I rub to the right, it'll get even more. But you got to be careful. You don't want it to end up looking fake. So, yeah, I think right about there is good. And I'll check mark. Now the tree is a little bit dark. What tool can I use to affect that without affecting the rest of the picture? brush. Tools, brush, and exposure, and 0.7 is about right. And now I can just start rubbing on the tree. Yeah, what do you think? I like it. I tap the check mark. I want to see what my original looked like. Long press outside of the... Actually, I think you can even... Yeah, you can long press anywhere. And it shows you my original and my edited. Edited much better. So now I will do export and save a copy. So one more, and then we'll go on. Open from device, and I made sure. Now all of my photos are in Google Photos, but in preparation for this class, I downloaded the ones I wanted to work with onto the device. And the next one I want to work with is the St. Louis Arch. So once again, we had a great vantage point. We were crossing the Mississippi River, and I snapped this picture. I think it's a nice composition, but it's dull. Tools, tune image, and I'm going to go straight to ambiance. Rub to the right. All right. I think that could make, and so you see what it's done. You know, dull, pretty. And I like it. I am now going to go to the second tool over, details. In details, when you rub to the right, watch what happens. It kind of like pops. You see how the details come out, the structure, the sharpness. I'll rub to the left so you can see the difference. Dull and mushy. Sharp and beautiful. All right. Now I also think I want some text on this one. Just in case people don't know, I want them to know that this is the St. Louis Arch. Tools and text. And double tap here to change text. Double tap and tap. St. Louis Arch. Now, you have lots of different styles. That's this little button down here. That's I don't like that style for this picture. I want a speech bubble there. But I want it to be up in that upper left corner. And I want I want that pointing to the right. So now I can make it smaller, I can make it bigger, I can move it around just by dragging it, and I'm going to put it right there. And I can even angle it there. St. Louis Arch, I like that. I check mark. I want to see what my original looked like. I long press. Yuck. Wow. You want people to say wow when they look at your photos. All right, export, and I'll save a copy. So in review, the tuning is your number one tool. Details, I think, are your number two. And these two sets of pictures are samples of what you can do with just those two tools. You can also beautify even more with HDR, and then the detail tool, and then adding text to your picture anywhere you want. The healing tool is special, and for this we have a little pre-recorded segment. Hi, this is Chris Guld, and this Show Me video is about using Snapseed and the healing tool. Heal. And here is my example. He's got a scratch on his face. Well, you don't want a picture with a scratch on his face. Open in Snapseed, tools, and now the hardest part is finding it in all of these tools. There are just so many, but it looks like two Band-Aids. It's called Healing, and it's the 2 Band-Aids. And I want to zoom in, so I'll use my 2 fingers, zoom in, and then just touch. And that's all. That's all he needed. So I'll check mark, export, and save. Another example, beautiful picture of a pumpkin patch, except for that stupid piece of garbage. Open in Snapseed, Tools, Healing, and touch. Log on. I have another example. So here, I want to take this whole sign out. Open in Snapseed. It is a great tool for small things that need to be removed, not so much for the bigger things. So I'm going to try it in one swipe. And often that's the best, but I have some left over. Well, I'll swipe there again, and now I have some water up in the trees. I'll swipe again. I'll swipe again. You know, that looks pretty nasty. You can undo. So every time you tap undo, it undoes one of the times you touched the screen. All right, until I'm all the way back. Now I'll try that again. How about I'll zoom in and I'll just do the top part, and then I'll do the middle part, and then I'll do that. That's not too bad. But you can see, if you wanted to take that whole tree out of the Grand Canyon picture, I don't think so. There are better tools for that. But if you just need to do a little bit of fixing, this is great that it's here. Check mark and save.
All right. Pretty cool. A couple of people have their hands up. Kay?
Yes, I was wondering if each of the tools that you've presented here, if the whole lot of them are what we can find on your YouTube channel.
There's an awful lot of tools in Snapseed that I haven't even used. A lot of them that I don't use are kind of filters, they're combinations. I don't know. You just have to play with them. But we do have a course as what we teach on it on our website, yes, and on our YouTube channel. There's a.
And those resources are also
in the class.
In the class that we referenced earlier.
And I did have a written handout. It was a little out of date, so I took it off. But maybe I should update it and put it back. I will do that. I will do that. I will update the written handout, and it will be on the Senior Planet class page.
She promises.
Excellent.
I promise.
Excellent.
He'll make
It's
me.
been wonderful. Your explanations are wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, we ain't done yet.
Thank you.
Debbie,
Okay.
you had something?
I was just going to go through a couple of the questions in the chat.
Yes, please.
Karen is asking, do you know what the best tool might be to use to remove a reflection, say, from shooting a photo through a window?
You'd have to play with the healing tool, see if the healing tool does a good enough job. And then you'd have to play with the exposures. Yeah, but nothing.
Sounds like a lot of work to me.
Nothing perfect. And I'll bet you there's another tool somewhere, Google for editing
or removing reflections.
Window reflections.
So is there a document or a reference sheet out there that they could get that would kind of give a definition of each of these tools?
Well, that's why. No, not that I know of. There is a help. There's a help
and it's pretty good help
on the app under that 3-dot menu at the top of the page, top of the screen. There is help. So, and there's my tutorial videos, and there's lots of others. And as I say, I will update my written handout and have available.
Okay. Someone in Alberta, Grand Junction.
Alberta in Grand Junction.
Oh,
Colorado.
Alberta in Grand. Oh, okay.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
Chris, after you were looking at your original, how do you get back to the one that you fixed up?
Yeah, that is the stacks brush, and that's the next slide. So the stacks, the little double square icon up at the top.
And Arena?
Thank you.
Yes, hi, I have a question. I have my Amazon Fire. I opened it up and I was looking for Snapseed, and
Amazon
all I'm
Fire
coming across
tablet.
is the Snapseed guide. Who makes the Snapseed?
Well, Snapseed is by Google, but it's for Android and iOS. And even though the Amazon device is based on Google, they've customized it to the point where
It doesn't work.
I doubt seriously that Snapseed is available for that device.
Because I have my Google Photos, I can pull them up on this Amazon Fire,
Okay.
and they allow me to edit, but I love the Snapseed, and so that's why I was seeing if
Right. I doubt, I don't know, but I would not be surprised if Snapseed was not available for the Amazon Fire. That would be something you could Google and see if there's a way.
Okay, thank you so much.
So next, the brush tool. We did the brush tool a couple times. I think I'll skip that. The brush tool can make just a piece of the photo lighter, darker, more brilliant. And here is just an example. It's very easy to overdo these. You don't want your photo to end up looking fake. Although I gotta say, I kind of like that one on the right, don't you? It just looks more like a painting than a photo, but
A little overdone.
yeah, a little overdone. Okay. So understanding stacks. If any of you have worked with Photoshop, you know the term layers. And Snapseed has the same type of concept, but it's with stacks. Once you get into the stacks and view edits, you can change or delete any edit that you did to a picture, and you can remove them all with revert. So let me show you how. I'm going into Snapseed, and I'm going to pull up one of the photos that I just worked on, like, that St. Louis arch. Let's say I've decided I don't want that speech bubble. That's silly. People know this is the arch in St. Louis. They don't need my text. It's this button up at the top that it looks like two squares on top of each other with an arrow. That is the stacks tool. And when I view edits, now at the bottom right, I see everything that I did to this photo. I put text on it, and I can do things to the text. I adjusted the details. I tuned the image. And notice every step I tap on to go back, it's taking away all those above it. So let's say, for example, in the tune image, that I wanted to add more saturation. Tap on a tune image, and now I have my choice to trash it, to brush it on, that's something else, or to just change my options. That one, to change the options. Now I'm back to where I can rub up and down, and I'll say I want more saturation in this picture. I chose saturation. I rub to the right. Now you see how the sky is bluer and the trees are greener, maybe a little bit too much. I'll say about 50. I'll do about 50% there. Okay, so I like that. I tap the check mark, and I still see all my edits. The details, that one was fine. The text, I want to get rid of that text altogether. Tap on the little arrow, tap the trash can, and that text is gone. Now, here's one thing. It took me a while to figure this one out. Okay, now what? I don't see any done. I don't see any save. How do I finish? How do I get out of here? It's the left arrow. You just back out of the stacks editing. And once again, I can touch and hold to see my complete original, let go to see the newly edited one, and export and save or save a copy. So that's the stacks editor. You can edit any step that you did along the way. Very helpful. Or if you click revert, it just goes back to your original completely, takes away everything. How many of you use a Chromebook? Anybody? Okay.
I don't see many hands. I see a couple.
I just see a couple. Okay, so I don't have time to demonstrate, but let me just talk about it. A Chromebook is a laptop, right? It looks like a laptop. You work with it like a laptop. You can use a mouse. Most of them are also touch screen, but it can run Android apps. Therefore, it can run Snapseed. As long as your Chromebook has the Play Store, you can go to the Play Store and install Snapseed. You could also install the Google Photos app, the Android app, and then you can do everything that I've shown you so far. I was using an iPad. You could do all of that same stuff on a Chromebook. Next slide. The key is you must install the app. Both the Snapseed app and the Google Photos app, because you don't take many pictures. You don't take pictures with your Chromebook, right? You take them elsewhere. You probably, hopefully, store them in Google Photos. So that's the way to use it with a Chromebook. We don't have time for this, but notice where this is a slide on the slideshow that you can access on our website on the page for this class. And that 596 is a clickable link. So you can watch this video at your leisure at any time. What this is, can you see how I have blurred out the three guys' faces in the second picture? And I did that with a stacks brush. Step one is to make the whole photo blurry. Then you use the stacks and you brush the blur onto the faces that you want. Really fun. Next one. And you can watch that video at any time. Double exposure, same thing. We don't have time to go into it, but how did I get that picture on the right? We did not have anybody with us. We did not have a tripod. Jim took a picture of me walking on the beach. I took a picture of Jim walking on the beach. I used Snapseed's double exposure tool to put them together. And there's a complete video on that. Once again, you can watch it at your leisure later. We'll remind you how to get there. This one I do want to show you, though. I always like to end with this one because it's so fun. This is another pre-recorded segment about, everybody always asks, or at least everybody like me, old ladies with wrinkled faces, say, can you get rid of the wrinkles? And the answer is yes. The last one, just because this is fun, everybody always asks, can you get rid of the wrinkles? And yes, there is a feature. You can also brighten up the eyes, move the chin up, and put a smile on their face. So this is a picture of my mom, and use the tool called Portrait. And it automatically applied a face spotlight at 70%. So her face is brighter than the rest, and her skin has been smoothed a little bit. But let me show you more in detail. Skin smoothing. It says, so I have face spotlight, skin smoothing, and eye clarity. Skin smoothing, and I rub to the right. And can you see how there are no wrinkles now? I rub to the left, the wrinkles are back. I rub to the right, and it's like it's been airbrushed. Let me show you the eye clarity. So watch your eyes as I rub to the right. I rub to, oops. Now that I was showing you what there's the original picture. And there, now I did a little bit too much eye clarity, I think. Original picture after improvement. I'll accept that. Then the last tool is, and just because it's too much fun, head pose. And watch it. So her chin, notice how her chin is kind of down. I think she should be looking more up. All I have to do is rub my finger up. There you go. And she has actually a pretty nice, actually kind of a Mona Lisa smile, but just watch what it does. If I go down here to the adjustments and choose smile and rub to the right. Okay, good. On that note.
If I have been using Photoshop, I don't see why I need to continue using Photoshop.
Exactly. People do call this, you know, the Photoshop for mobile devices.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We're not going to do anything with it. Curves are really advanced. If you've been using Photoshop, maybe you understand curves. It's above my pay grade, but I did just play with one thing. On the left there, I took a photo of a negative that I put on a light table. And using curves, I just totally reversed the curve and it made it into a positive. So, and, you know, I just want you to know, for people who do know what curves are, that Snapseed has them.
All right, remember you can view this whole slide presentation. Just go to our website, geeksontour.com/classes, and you all have access to this. So give it a shot. It's really, really a nice thing to have.
Now, I leave it public and free through the end of the month, but then it becomes, you know, that's how we make our living, is from a membership. People pay us $60 a year to be a member, and that gives them access to everything on our website. But so this will be free and public for the rest of February, and then it will be for members only.
Okay. Well, did you learn something? We have questions real quick, and we'll give you the answers. To increase the intensity of a given feature, you rub your finger, A, left, B, right, C, up, or D, down.
To increase the intensity, you rub your finger to the right.
Okay. What Snapseed tool will remove a scratch? Is it A, brush, B, heal, C, curves, or D, HDR scape?
Heal.
True or false, Snapseed will overwrite your original with permanent edits?
False.
Okay.
You can always go back to the stacks.
And where can you find the Geeks Snapseed class materials?
geeksontour.com/classes, and look for this day.
True or false, Snapseed also has a version for computers?
False.
Okay.
It's for mobile devices only.
And
Android or iOS.
You only need 2 tools to beautify a photo. What are they?
The first 2, tuning and details, will make marvelous differences in your photos.
Okay.
And there was one more.
Yep. So sign up for our free newsletters. You can scan that QR code. You can go to our website at geeksontour.com/news. And that's it for us. I think that'll
Thanks, guys. Hey, I
do
want to
it.
point out that Dave put a link in the chat for Google help pages for tools on Snapseed.
Yeah, very good.
So that's a good link if they want to copy that.
Okay. Good to know. Excellent. Well, it was wonderful seeing all of you and having this chance to interact with our friends in Denver. It's always good to...
And from all over. I
And from
noticed
all over.
I
Thank
noticed
you.
Chuck Parker.
Thank you.
All right.